Korean Mafia boss thought he left his past behind. Then his 5-year-old son whispered, "Mommy has a secret, and the bad men are coming for her." My son was 5 years old. He should not have known words like "they found us." But that morning, while I was making breakfast, he stopped playing with his toys and walked toward me with that look in his eyes. The same look my daughter Sumin used to get right before she said things that came true. "Appa," he whispered. "Why does Mommy cry when she looks at the old picture?" "What picture, June?" "The one she hides in her jewelry box. The man with the angry eyes. She talks to it sometimes when nobody is watching." My blood went cold. "What does she say to it?" "She says she is sorry. She says she had no choice. She says she hopes he never finds us." Then my 5-year-old son grabbed my hand, his small fingers ice cold and trembling. "They are coming, Appa. The men from Mommy's before time. They found us. And they want to take her back." I looked across the kitchen at my wife, Naomi, the woman who saved me from my own darkness, the woman I thought I knew everything about. "What are you hiding from me?" What my son revealed that morning turned my home into a battlefield. I stared at my son. June stood there in his pajamas with cartoon dragons on them, looking up at me with eyes that saw too much for a 5-year-old. "June, where did you hear those words? Did someone talk to you? Did someone approach you at school?" He shook his head slowly. "I see them, Appa. In my dreams. The same way Nuna used to see things." Sumin appeared in the kitchen doorway, her school bag slung over her shoulder. She was 14 now, taller, her features a beautiful mix of her late mother and the Park family. She stopped when she saw June's face. "He had another one, didn't he?" she asked quietly. Naomi walked in from the bedroom, her nursing scrubs on, ready for her shift at the clinic. She smiled when she saw us all gathered in the kitchen, but the smile faltered when she noticed the tension. "What's wrong? What happened?" I looked at my wife, really looked at her. After 7 years of marriage, I thought I knew every shadow that crossed her face, every secret hidden in her eyes. But now I saw something I had missed. Fear. Old fear buried deep. "June had a vision," I said carefully. "He says people from your past are coming. Men who want to take you back." The color drained from Naomi's face. The coffee mug in her hand trembled. "That is not possible," she whispered. Sumin moved closer to her little brother, her hand resting protectively on his shoulder. "June does not lie about what he sees. You know that." Naomi set down her mug before she could drop it. "J1, I can explain." "Then explain." "Because our son just told me you have been hiding a picture of a man with angry eyes. A man you apologize to when you think no one is watching." Her eyes filled with tears. "Not here. Not in front of the children." "They already know," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "June saw it. Whatever this is, we handle it as a family. No more secrets." Naomi looked at Sumin, then at June, then back at me. She nodded slowly, defeated. Okay. But first, let me take June to school. Let me get Sumin to her campus. Then we will talk. Promise." I wanted to argue, wanted to demand answers immediately, but I saw the plea in her eyes. "Okay, I agreed. But tonight, no more delays." After they left, I stood alone in our kitchen, my mind racing. I pulled out my phone and called the one person who would understand. Minjun answered on the second ring. "It is early, J1. What is wrong? I need you to look into something." Quietly, "I thought you were out of the life." "I am. This is not business. This is personal. I need you to dig into my wife's past. Before she came to LA. Everything from Atlanta." There was a pause. "You sure you want to open that door? My son just told me dangerous men are coming for her. So yes, I am sure. I will see what I can find." I spent the day trying to work, trying to focus on the architectural plans spread across my desk. But my mind kept wandering back to Naomi, to the years we had spent together, to everything I thought I knew. My thoughts drifted back to the early days of our marriage. The joy, the hope, the struggle. We had married quickly after I left the organization. A small ceremony, full of love and promise. Sumin had been so happy, finally having the family she had dreamed of. But the first 2 years of our marriage had been harder than either of us expected. I was learning to be a legitimate businessman. She was building her clinic from nothing. We were happy but exhausted. Then we started trying for a baby. Month after month, negative tests. Naomi would emerge from the bathroom with tears in her eyes, and I would hold her while she cried. After a year of trying, we saw doctors, tests, procedures. The stress began to crack our foundation. I remember one night, about 18 months into trying, finding her on the bathroom floor, sobbing. "I cannot give you this," she had said. "I cannot give you a son. Maybe this is punishment." "Punishment for what?" I had asked, pulling her into my arms. "For everything I have done. Everything I ran from." I had assumed she meant her broken engagement. The controlling ex-fiancé she had mentioned once and never spoke of again. I held her tighter. "We will keep trying. Or we will not. Sumin is enough. You are enough." But it was not about being enough. Naomi had wanted this so badly, wanted to give me a child, wanted to prove to herself that she could build something beautiful from the ashes of her past. Then, miraculously, 2 years into our marriage, 2 lines appeared on a test. I had been in my office when she called me, her voice shaking. "J1, come home. Please come home right now." I had driven like a madman, terrified something was wrong. I found her sitting on our bed, the pregnancy test in her trembling hands. "We are having a baby," she whispered. "We are really having a baby." I had wept, actually wept. This man who had once ordered violence without blinking, reduced to tears by 2 pink lines. The pregnancy had been difficult. Naomi was sick constantly. There were complications, bed rest, fears about losing him. But through it all, she had been fierce, determined. When June was finally born, tiny and perfect and screaming, Naomi had looked at me with such pure relief. "We did it," she had said. "We really did it." Sumin had been 12 then, and she had taken to being a big sister like she had been preparing for it her whole life. She would sit by June's crib for hours, singing to him, telling him stories. And when June was about 6 months old, Sumin had said something that chilled me. "Appa, he is like me. He has the sight too. I can feel it." I had dismissed it at the time, but she had been right. As June grew, the signs became clear. He knew things he should not know, saw things that had not happened yet, said things that came true with terrifying accuracy, just like Sumin had when she was younger. Except Sumin's gift had faded as she became a teenager. She said it was like a radio slowly losing signal. She still had intuition, still had moments of knowing, but the vivid visions had stopped. Now June carried that weight. And this morning, he had seen something that threatened everything. My phone buzzed, pulling me from my memories. "Min June." "That was fast," I said. "You are not gonna like what I found." "Tell me." "Your wife, she was not just running from a bad relationship when she came to LA. She was running from a family. The Harpers. Ever heard of them?" My blood ran cold. The Harpers. Atlanta's most powerful crime family. They controlled everything from the ports to the politicians. "No," I said. "That is not possible. Her real name is not Naomi Harper. It is Naomi Lauron. She married into the Harper family when she was 22. Marcus Harper. The heir." I felt like the ground had disappeared beneath me. She was married? For 3 years. Then she disappeared. Vanished without a trace 6 years ago. There is still an open missing person case. Though from what I am reading between the lines, Marcus Harper knows exactly where she went. He has just been biding his time. Why would he wait 6 years? That I do not know. But J1, the Harpers are not people you run from. If they are coming for her now, there is a reason. Find out what it is. I hung up and sat in the silence of my office. My wife, the woman who had saved me from my darkness. She had been running from the same kind of life I had left behind. That evening, Naomi came home from dropping the kids at their various activities. June was at his friend's house for a playdate. Sumin was at debate club. We were finally alone. She stood in the living room, her arms wrapped around herself like she was cold. His name was Marcus. She began without prompting. "Marcus Harper. I met him when I was in nursing school. He was charming, protective. He said he wanted to take care of me, and I had just lost my grandmother. I was alone, vulnerable. So I said yes when he proposed." She sat down on the couch and I sat across from her, needing the distance. I did not know what he really was. Not at first. He hid it well. But after we got married, I saw the violence, the control, the empire built on suffering. I tried to leave after the first year, but he made it clear that I did not get to make that choice. In his world, wives do not leave. They obey or they disappear. How did you get out? I faked my death. The words hung in the air like smoke. There was a car accident. A real one. A woman died. She had no family, no one to claim her body. Marcus's people were the ones who identified her as me. I paid them everything I had saved. They helped me disappear. New identity. New city. New life. I became Naomi Harper instead of Naomi Lauron. Kept my married name because I knew he would be looking for my maiden name. Why did you never tell me? Because I thought I was safe. 6 years, J1. 6 years and he never found me. I thought maybe he had moved on. Married someone else. Forgotten about me. Men like that do not forget. I know, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. I know that now, but I wanted so badly to believe I could have this. Have you? Have our children. Have a normal life. If you enjoyed the story so far and want to see how a former crime boss protects the woman who saved him from her own dangerous past, hit that subscribe button now. Because what happens when two people running from darkness collide is about to get explosive. I stood and began pacing. So what changed? Why is he coming now? I do not know. I have been so careful. I have not contacted anyone from my old life. I have not used my old name. I have been invisible. June saw them. That means they are close. That means they know where you are. Her hands were shaking. What are we going to do? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Min-June again. I found out why Harper is moving now, he said without preamble. His father died 3 months ago. Marcus just took full control of the organization. And apparently, one of his first acts was to reopen the search for his wife. He has been telling people she was kidnapped. That he has been looking for her all these years. That he is bringing her home. She is not his wife anymore. She is mine. Legally, she might still be his. If she faked her death, the marriage was never dissolved. That is not happening. I do not care who he is or what he controls. She is not going back. J1, the Harpers have reached. Even here. Even in LA. And you have been out of the game for years. Your protection is not what it used to be. Then I will rebuild it. I hung up and turned to Naomi. She was watching me with wide eyes. You are thinking about going back, she said. To your old life. To protect me. I am thinking about protecting my family. Whatever that takes. No. She stood abruptly. No, J1. You worked too hard to get out. You built a new life. You are a good man now. I will not let you throw that away for me. You do not get to make that choice. Yes, I do. I will leave. I will disappear again. I will lead them away from you and the children. The door opened and Suman walked in, home early from debate club. She looked between us, reading the tension immediately. He found her, didn't he? She asked quietly. The man from the picture. How did you know about the picture? Naomi asked. June told me weeks ago. I have been waiting for you to tell Appa yourself. Naomi's face crumpled. I am so sorry. I am so sorry I lied. Suman walked over and took Naomi's hands. You did not lie. You survived. There is a difference. She turned to me. Appa, what are we going to do? I looked at my daughter. 14 years old and already wiser than most adults. Then at my wife, the woman who had pulled me from darkness, now drowning in her own. We fight, I said simply. We do not run. We do not hide. We fight. But how? Naomi asked. Marcus has an army. We have me, I said. And people still remember what I used to be. People still owe me favors. Marcus Harper may have power in Atlanta, but this is Los Angeles. This is my city. And he is about to learn that I did not leave my old life because I was weak. I left because I chose to. But I can make a different choice. Suman's eyes widened. Appa, are you sure? No. But I am sure that I will not let anyone take your mother. Not without a fight. That night, after Naomi had cried herself to sleep in my arms and Suman had gone to her room, I sat in the darkness and made phone calls. To people I had not spoken to in years. People from the shadows. People who understood the language of power and violence. By morning, I had assembled something I thought I would never need again. An army of my own. But what I did not know, what June had not yet revealed, was that Marcus Harper was not the real threat. The real danger was coming from somewhere much closer to home. The next morning I woke before dawn. Naomi was still asleep, exhausted from crying. I slipped out of bed and went to check on the children. June's door was slightly open. I pushed it wider and found Sumin sitting on the floor next to her brother's bed, watching him sleep. "How long have you been here?" I asked quietly. "Since around 3, she whispered. "He has nightmares now, like I used to. I wanted to be here when he woke up." I sat down beside my daughter. "Does he talk in his sleep? Like you did?" She nodded. "He keeps saying the same thing over and over. The woman with the sad smile is the key. The woman with the sad smile is the key." "What woman?" "I don't know. But Appa, I need to tell you something. About Naomi's past." "What do you know?" She looked down at her hands. "About a month ago, I saw her talking to someone on a burner phone. I wasn't spying. I just came home early and heard her in the bedroom. She was speaking quietly, but I heard her say, 'I did what you asked. It's done. Please leave my family alone.' My blood went cold. She never mentioned this to me. I know. I didn't know if I should tell you. I thought maybe it was about the clinic. Maybe some donor or something. But after what June said yesterday, I think it's connected." "Did you see the phone again?" "She keeps it hidden in the garage, behind the old paint cans on the top shelf." I stood immediately. "Stay with your brother." I went to the garage and found exactly what Sumin described. A cheap prepaid phone hidden behind paint supplies. I turned it on. There were no contacts saved, but the call history showed multiple calls to the same number over the past 3 months. All outgoing, none incoming. I took the phone and went back inside. Naomi was awake now, standing in the kitchen making coffee. She turned when she heard me and froze when she saw what I was holding. "When were you going to tell me about this?" Her face went pale. "J1, I can explain. That seems to be your favorite phrase lately." She set down her coffee mug with shaking hands. 3 months ago, I got a message at the clinic. Someone left an envelope at the front desk. Inside was a picture of June at his school. Just him playing on the playground. And a note that said, "He looks just like you. It would be a shame if anything happened to him." Rage flooded through me. "Someone threatened our son and you didn't tell me?" I was terrified. The note said if I told anyone, they would take him. So I called the number on the note. It was Marcus's sister, Elena. I didn't know he had a sister. Nobody does. She stays in the shadows. But she's the one who really runs things. Marcus is the face, but Elena is the brain. She told me that Marcus never stopped looking for me. That faking my death was clever, but not clever enough. She said they had known where I was for over a year. A year? You've known about this for a year? No, just 3 months. She said they were watching, waiting, gathering information. She said if I did what she asked, she would convince Marcus to let me go. To let us all go. What did she ask you to do? Naomi's eyes filled with tears. Information. She wanted information about your old contacts. Your business associates from before. Names. Locations. Weaknesses. You gave her information about my people? I gave her old information. Stuff that's public record if you know where to look. I never gave her anything that would actually hurt anyone. I swear. But you've been feeding her for 3 months. I was trying to protect our family. I thought if I gave her enough to make her happy, she would convince Marcus to move on. And has she? Obviously not, since June is having visions of men coming to take you. She sank into a chair, her head in her hands. I'm so sorry. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I could handle it on my own. You should have trusted me. I didn't want you to become that man again. The man you used to be. You've worked so hard to be different. I couldn't ask you to go back to that world for me. Before I could respond, June walked into the kitchen, rubbing his eyes. He climbed into Naomi's lap without a word, and she held him close. Appa, he said sleepily. The woman with the sad smile called again last night. What? In my dream. She was talking to Mommy. She said the clock is ticking. Naomi's face went ashen. How does he know about Elena? Because he sees things, I said quietly, just like Sumin did. And if he's seeing her, that means something is about to happen. As if on cue, the burner phone in my hand buzzed. A text from the unknown number. Time's up. He's coming for her today. I tried to give you more time, but Marcus doesn't listen anymore. Get her out of LA. Now. I showed the message to Naomi. She read it and started shaking. We need to leave. Right now. Get the kids, get whatever we can carry, and run. No, I said firmly. We're not running. J1, you don't understand. Marcus isn't like the men you dealt with. He's irrational, obsessive. He will burn down this entire city to get to me. Then let him try. I called Minjun. I need everyone at the safe house. Now, the safe house was a property I had kept from my old life. A warehouse in an industrial area, reinforced, secure, and off the grid. By noon, it was filled with men I hadn't seen in years. Some had gone legitimate like me. Others had stayed in the shadows. But all of them remembered what I had done for them. The favors, the protection, the loyalty. Minjun stood beside me as I addressed them. Thank you for coming. I know many of you left this life behind, but I'm calling in old debts. My wife is being hunted by the Harper organization from Atlanta. They're coming to take her today. I need to make it clear that she's under my protection, that this is still my city. One of the older men, a former lieutenant named Sung Ho, spoke up. With respect, J1, you've been out for 7 years. The new crews don't fear the park name anymore. And the Harpers have been making alliances here. They have local support. Then we remind them why they should fear it, I said coldly. I saw Naomi watching from the corner of the room, holding June while Sumin stood protectively beside her. The look on her face was conflicted. Fear mixed with something else. Guilt, maybe, or regret. Appa, Sumin called out. Can I talk to you? Privately? We stepped into a back office. She closed the door and turned to me with tears in her eyes. I remember this, she said quietly. When I was little, before Mom died. I remember you having meetings like this. Men with guns. Plans for violence. I remember being scared. I'm sorry you have to see this again. I'm not telling you to stop. I'm telling you to be careful. Because June is watching now. Just like I watched. And what he sees today will shape who he becomes. Just like what I saw shaped me. What do you mean? Do you know why my gift faded? It wasn't just age. It was because I chose to close that door. I saw too much darkness, too much violence, and I decided I didn't want to see anymore. My mind protected itself by shutting down the gift. If June sees you become that man again, if he sees you do terrible things even for good reasons, he might close that door too. Or worse, he might walk through it and never come back. Her words hit me like a physical blow. What are you saying? I'm saying there has to be another way. A way that doesn't require you to sacrifice who you've become. If there is, I don't see it. She took my hand. Then let me help you look. We returned to the main room. I was about to continue planning when the warehouse door burst open. But it wasn't Marcus Harper's men. It was Elena. She walked in alone, her hands raised to show she was unarmed. She was tall, elegant, with sharp features and eyes that missed nothing. J1 Park, she said calmly. I came to talk. Every gun in the room pointed at her. She didn't flinch. You have 30 seconds before I have you removed, I said. I'm here to help you. Believe it or not. Why would I believe anything from you? You've been extorting my wife for months. I've been trying to protect her. And before you shoot me, you should know that Marcus isn't the real threat. He's just a lovesick fool with too much money and too many men. The real threat is standing in this room right now. What are you talking about? Elena's eyes swept across the assembled men, then landed on Minjun. Ask your oldest friend why he's been feeding Marcus information for the past 6 months. Ask him why he's the one who told the Harpers where to find Naomi in the first place. The room went deadly silent. I turned to Minjun, my brother in everything but blood. The man who had stood beside me for 20 years. Tell me she's lying. His face was unreadable. I can explain. If you've been keeping up with this impossible love story and want to see how deep betrayal cuts and whether redemption is even possible when your closest friend becomes your greatest enemy, smash that subscribe button right now. Because what happens next will test everything J1 thought he knew about loyalty, family, and the cost of leaving the past behind. Explain, I said, my voice dangerously quiet. Now, Minjun holstered his weapon slowly. The other men tensed, unsure whose side to take. You left us, he said finally. You built this empire, made us all powerful, and then you just walked away. For a woman. For a life we could never have. So you betrayed me? You endangered my family? I gave the Harpers information because they paid well. Because unlike you, I still have to operate in this world. I still have to make money, maintain territory, keep the peace. And you're playing house with a woman who was never honest with you. She was running for her life. She was hiding from her husband, from a marriage she never legally ended. Do you know what that makes you, J1? The other man, the fool who built a fantasy on someone else's foundation. I moved toward him, rage burning through me. Sumin's voice stopped me. Appa, don't. I turned to see my daughter standing protectively in front of Naomi and June. He wants you to hit him, she said. He wants you to react with violence. Because then he wins. Then you prove you're still that man. That you never really changed. Smart kid, Elena said. She's right. This whole thing was designed to pull you back in. Minjun has been working with Marcus to create a situation where you'd have to choose. Let Naomi be taken, or become the monster again to save her. Why? I asked Minjun. Why go to all this effort? Because I wanted you to come back. His voice cracked. I wanted my brother back. The man who built kingdoms, not the one who designs buildings for schools. I thought if I created a big enough crisis, you'd remember who you really are. This is who I really am, I said. A father, a husband, a man trying to be better than what he was raised to be. You're a fool hiding from his nature. Maybe. But I'd rather be a fool with a family than a king alone. Minjun's face hardened. Then you've made your choice. He moved faster than I expected. Gun drawn and aimed not at me, but at Naomi. 3 things happened simultaneously. Sumin screamed and dove in front of her stepmother. June's small voice rang out with eerie clarity. The woman with the sad smile saves everyone. And Elena pulled a weapon from behind her back and fired. The shot hit Minjun in the shoulder. He went down hard, his gun clattering across the concrete floor. The men in the room erupted into chaos, some moving to help him, others pointing weapons at Elena. Everyone stop, I commanded. My voice cut through the noise like a blade. They froze. Elena lowered her weapon. I told you, I'm here to help. I rushed to Sumin and Naomi. My daughter was shaking but unhurt. Naomi held June close, his face buried in her shoulder. Are you all right? Sumin nodded. Couldn't let him hurt her. Appa. Couldn't. I pulled my daughter into my arms. You are the bravest person I know. June lifted his head and pointed at Elena. She's the woman from my dreams. The sad smile. Elena's composure cracked for just a moment. Something flickered across her face. Pain, maybe, or regret. Why? I asked her. Why help us? Because Naomi was my friend before she was my brother's wife. We were nursing students together. I'm the one who introduced them, and I've been living with the guilt of that for 6 years. Naomi stared at her. Elena? I'm sorry, Elena said, her voice thick with emotion. I didn't know what Marcus would become, what he would do to you. When you disappeared, he lost his mind. And I've been trying to manage him ever since. But he's getting worse, more obsessive, more dangerous. I thought if I could just buy you time, find a way to make him let go. But he won't let go, Naomi finished. No, he won't, which is why I'm here, to offer you a different option. Which is, let me take you to him. Let me arrange a meeting where you can end this yourself. Absolutely not, I said. That's not happening. J1 listened to her, Naomi said quietly. No, I won't send you into danger. I was never yours to send, she said gently. This is my choice, my past, my debt to settle. Elena nodded. I can guarantee your safety for the meeting. Marcus won't hurt you, at least not in front of witnesses. And I've arranged for witnesses, important people, senators, federal agents, people who will hold him accountable. All you have to do is face him, tell him you're done, and sign the divorce papers I've had drawn up. He'll never sign them, Naomi said. He will if the alternative is federal prosecution. I've been gathering evidence against him for 2 years. Tax evasion, money laundering, trafficking. Enough to put him away for life. I'll give it all to the FBI unless he lets you go. Why would you betray your own brother? Because you were right to run. And I should have helped you then. Let me help you now. Naomi looked at me. I have to do this. It's the only way to end it without more bloodshed. Every instinct screamed at me to refuse. To lock her away somewhere safe. To handle this myself with violence and finality. But I looked at Sumin, at June, at the men around me waiting to see what kind of man I had become. Okay, I said. But I'm coming with you. No, Elena said. If he sees you, it will trigger his rage. It has to be just Naomi and me. Then I go, Sumin said. She's my mom too. And I can be there as support. Just a daughter with her mother. Nothing threatening. Absolutely not, I started. Appa, Sumin interrupted. You taught me that family protects family. Let me protect mine. She's right, Naomi said. It will look less confrontational if I bring my daughter. More like a family matter than a threat. I wanted to argue, but I saw the determination in both their faces. Fine, but you're both wearing wires, and I'll have people positioned within 100 yards. If anything goes wrong, it won't, Elena promised. I spent 2 years planning this. Trust me. The meeting was arranged for that evening at a private estate in the hills. Neutral territory, rented under a corporate name, staffed with security that Elena had personally vetted. I spent the hours before obsessively reviewing the plan, checking equipment, positioning my people. June stayed close to me, unusually quiet. Appa, he said as I adjusted Sumin's wire for the 3rd time. Stop worrying. The dream changed. What do you mean? When Nuna decided to go with Mommy, the dream changed. Before, I saw fire and screaming. Now I see talking, crying. But everyone comes home. I wish I had your certainty. You do. You're just scared to believe it. He was right. I was terrified. I watched through surveillance feeds as Naomi and Sumin entered the estate. Elena met them at the door. They were escorted to a sitting room where Marcus Harper waited. He was younger than I expected. Mid-30s, handsome in a cold way, dressed impeccably. He stood when Naomi entered. Naomi. His voice was soft, almost tender. You look well. Marcus. Her voice was steady. We need to talk. I've waited 6 years to talk to you. Then listen now. I'm not coming back. I never was. I love someone else. I have children with someone else. That life we had, it's over. You don't get to decide that. You're my wife. Sumin stepped forward. She's my dad's wife. Legally and in every way that matters. You need to let her go. Marcus's eyes shifted to my daughter. And you are? I'm Sumin. I'm Naomi's daughter. And I'm asking you, as someone who loves her, please let her be happy. Something in his expression wavered. How old are you? 14. The same age my daughter would have been. The words hung in the air. Naomi's face went pale. What? You didn't know? Marcus laughed bitterly. Of course you didn't. Why would I have told you? 2 months after you disappeared, I found out you were pregnant when you left. My child. You took my child and I never even got to know. Naomi's legs buckled. Elena caught her. That's not possible. I couldn't have been. The clinic you went to 3 weeks before the accident. The one you thought I didn't know about. They kept records. You were 9 weeks pregnant. I had a miscarriage, Naomi whispered. A week before I ran. I was devastated. I didn't tell you because I would have locked you down completely, Marcus finished. Because a pregnancy would have been the perfect chain. But you're telling me you lost it? Yes, I lost it. There was no baby. Prove it. Elena pulled out medical records. Hospital admission from 6 years ago. Miscarriage at 10 weeks. It's all here, Marcus. She's telling the truth. He stared at the papers like they were a foreign language. Then at Sumin. But you have a daughter now. She's not mine biologically, Naomi said quietly. But she's my daughter in every way that counts. Just like the child I lost was yours in every way that counted. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I never told you. I'm sorry I ran instead of trying to work things out. But I can't change the past. I can only ask you to let go of it. Marcus sat down heavily. His hands were shaking. For 6 years I thought you took my child. I thought you were hiding somewhere with our baby, raising it to hate me. That's what kept me searching. Not just losing you, losing them. There was no them. There was only me. And I was dying in that marriage, Marcus. You were killing me with your control, your jealousy, your need to own every part of me. I had to leave or I wouldn't have survived. So you faked your death and let me grieve? Yes, I did. And I'd do it again. Because I'm alive now. I'm happy. I have a family that doesn't require me to disappear into the background. I have a husband who sees me as a partner, not a possession. Does he know what you did? Does he know you're still legally my wife? He knows everything now. And he's outside, ready to tear down this building if you hurt me. But I asked him to let me handle this myself. To trust that I could face you and walk away. Marcus looked at his sister. You set this up. I did. Because it's time to let her go, Marcus. She's not coming back. And if you force this, I'll turn over everything I have on you to the federal prosecutors waiting outside. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison. Or you can sign the divorce papers, accept a generous settlement to save face, and move on with your life. You'd betray me for her? I'd save you from yourself. There's a difference. The room was silent for a long moment. Then Marcus picked up a pen. I'll sign on one condition. What? Look me in the eye and tell me you never loved me. That it was all a lie. Naomi met his gaze. I loved who I thought you were. But that man didn't exist. The real you, the one I came to know, I never loved him. I feared him. He flinched like she'd struck him. But he signed the papers. It was done. Naomi and Sumin left the estate, walking quickly to the car where I waited. I pulled them both into my arms, my heart finally starting to beat normally again. Is it over? Sumin asked. It's over, Naomi confirmed. We drove home in silence. June was waiting with Sung-ho, who had volunteered to watch him. My son took one look at us and smiled. I told you everyone comes home. That night, after the children were asleep, Naomi and I lay in bed, holding each other. I'm sorry, she whispered, for all of it. The lies, the secrets, the danger I brought to our family. I'm sorry I almost became the man I used to be to protect you. Would you have? Really? I don't know. I wanted to. Every instinct screamed at me to handle it with violence. But Sumin reminded me that who I am now matters more than who I was. That our children are watching and learning. She's wise beyond her years. She gets that from you. No, she gets it from having a father who chose to change. Who chose to be better. A week later, Minjun reached out from the hospital. The shoulder wound had been serious but not life-threatening. He asked to meet. I went alone against Naomi's wishes. He looked smaller in the hospital bed. Diminished. I'm sorry, he said without preamble. I was angry, jealous. I missed my friend and I blamed your wife for taking you away. But she didn't take you. You chose a different path. And I couldn't accept that. I chose happiness over power. I don't regret it. I know. And I was wrong to try to pull you back. Wrong to endanger your family. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't forgive you. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I don't hate you either. You were my brother for 20 years. That has to count for something. What happens now? Now you recover. Then you leave LA. I don't care where you go, but you can't stay here. And if you ever threaten my family again, brother or not, I will end you. He nodded. Understood. 6 months passed. Life returned to something resembling normal. Naomi's clinic thrived. My architecture firm landed a major contract designing affordable housing. Sumin started high school and joined the debate team. June's visions became less frequent, less frightening. And then one Saturday morning, June came running into the kitchen with a drawing. Look, Appa, look what I saw. It was a picture of our family. But there was an extra person. A little girl with dark curly hair. Who is this? I asked. My sister. She's coming soon. In the spring. Naomi dropped her coffee mug. It shattered on the floor. June. Baby, what are you talking about? The baby. He pointed at Naomi's stomach. She's right there. Can't you feel her? Naomi's hand went to her abdomen. Her eyes went wide. She looked at me. I'm late. I've been so stressed I didn't even notice. I'm 2 weeks late. We took a test that afternoon. 2 pink lines appeared. We were having a daughter. Naomi cried. Happy tears this time. I held her while June danced around the bathroom chanting, I'm going to be a big brother. Sumin appeared in the doorway. Is it true? Are we really? She couldn't finish the sentence. I pulled her into our embrace. Our family is growing. That night, all 4 of us sat in the living room, Naomi's hand on her still flat stomach. Tell us about her, Sumin said to June. What else did you see? She's going to be loud, he said seriously. And she's going to be in charge of everyone. Even Appa. We all laughed. June's eyes got that faraway look again. And she's going to be proof. Proof of what? I asked. That love is stronger than the past. That family is what you build, not what you're born into. That wrong addresses lead to right homes. He was quoting the speech I'd given at my wedding to Naomi. Words he shouldn't have remembered because he wasn't born yet. But he was right. Our daughter was born the following spring. We named her Hope, because that's what she represented. Hope that the past could be overcome. Hope that love could heal the deepest wounds. Hope that two people from dark places could build something beautiful together. I never believed in fate. I believed in power, in control, in making your own way through force. But that night when Naomi stood in my shower, terrified and trying to explain, when my daughter whispered that she was the one, when my son saw visions that saved us from destroying ourselves, I learned something different. Sometimes we end up in the wrong place because it's actually the right one. Sometimes the person who seems most impossible is the one who makes everything possible. And sometimes the greatest strength isn't in returning to who we were, but in choosing who we want to become. Redemption isn't a moment. It's a choice. Every single day choosing to be better. Choosing love over fear. Choosing family over power. Choosing hope over the past. And I will make that choice every day for the rest of my life. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that people can change and that love can triumph over even the darkest pasts, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Share this with someone who needs to hear that it's never too late to choose a different path, never too late to become who you were meant to be. Because sometimes the wrong door leads you exactly where you belong. Sometimes the woman in your shower is the answer to prayers you didn't even know you were praying. And sometimes the greatest power isn't in controlling others, but in having the strength to control yourself. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. Until next time, remember, family isn't just about blood. It's about who chooses to stay and build a life with you, even when it's complicated, even when it's scary, even when it seems impossible.